So here we have the finals of the Store Championship from Game Empire Pasadena. On the left we have John playing Lannister Stark from the previous round. And on the right we have a Lannister Tyrell. Let me look up the gentleman's name. So we got the setup. On the Lannister side we have Tywin and a small reducer. And on the Lannister Tyrell side, it's the Hound, Marjorie, and a King's Road. And both people flop Commo Westeros. The Lannister has initiative with the King's Road on the table. So I believe the Lannister player has to decide who's going first.
Okay. I'll trigger your play. I am going to say military.
Okay, so both players choose military for Commo Westeros to reduce the claim to 0 at the moment for military claim. Okay, so the Tyrell player, I guess we'll go by the banners because they're both playing Lannister as the main house. So the Tyrell player chose the Stark player to go first, and he plays a dupe on Tywin. And with 7 gold, 5 from the plot and 2 from Tywin from setup, deciding the Stark banners deciding to play a reducer with the reducer at cost, and brings out the Hound for 2 gold. So now both players have the Hound on the table, and he plays his limited Rose Road and plays a Tumblestone Knight for 2 gold. Looks like he'll be sitting on 2 gold. Okay, and now the Tyrell banner. He's got 3 gold left, so the Tyrell player was asking him how much gold he has left. So the Lannister player, the Stark banner, counting out his gold there. Okay. Ooh, so the treachery comes out for the King's Road. We'll see how that plays out. Burning a treachery really early before you know what your opponent's strategy is. It could be a little risky. King's Road, getting it off the table though, can be very valuable. Okay, reducer plus 4 gold to bring out the Knight of Flowers. And it looks like that is the marshalling phase. So I think we're going to transition to the challenges phase momentarily here, once the Stark banner decides how he would like to initiate challenges. So a Tumblestone military, although there is no claim, he can collect the unopposed power. So the Tyrell banner could choose to block with the Knight of Flowers, giving him renown, but probably not the best at this moment. Probably want to go for the power challenge, try to get it either unopposed late into the challenges phase. So we'll see how the Knight of Flowers handles that. And he does choose. Interesting. So I think the Stark banner decides to pass, and now we have looks like a challenge out from the Knight of Flowers. I believe it's a power challenge, and then Tywin blocks. Marjorie boosts Knight of Flowers up to 8, and this puts Tywin at 7 plus 2 for the ambushed Widow's Wail, going to 9. So making Tywin the winner of the challenge and giving him renown. Okay, and then I believe they pass challenges. So very quick first round with the Commo Westeros sort of limiting claim choices. believe, yep, Tywin should stand. It's just hasn't occurred yet, so Tywin will stand. And the Tyrell banner need to discard down to reserve.
You have 2 in your hand. Clever.
I believe maybe he discarded Maester Pycelle, won the Lannister Meister with Insight. The Stark banner was noting that maybe he has 2 in hand, or it could just be the least valuable character in his hand. So Summons comes out for the Stark banner and Calling the Banners for the Tyrell banner. And looks like the Tyrell player decided to go first and is going to trigger Summons, but we could verify when marshalling phase happens. I've noticed in 2.0 most players don't play with the first player token, so it does make it a little difficult to sort of, until marshalling occurs, you don't necessarily know who is going first, unless you really, you can't catch it from the audio. Okay, so we'll see what the summons pulls from the Stark banner. And interesting, giving the Tyrell player the choice. And I didn't actually see, it might have been Tyrion, maybe just from a quick glance. The Lannister player could have given him the opportunity to select the same copy twice, sort of even mind gaming him, where he's like, well, I have 2 of the same guys, so maybe I'll just make you choose one of a dupe. Okay. So now calling banners, we'll collect him 5 for the Tyrell banner. And it'll draw 2. So the Tyrell player chose to go first, and he will collect his 3 from plot income. He has no location income at the moment. He's got a reducer out for Lannister. Uses the reducer. Pays 1, 2. Looks like Tywin's coming out. Yep, Tywin out on both sides. So you can see why the calling the banners was really necessary. And a bodyguard on Tywin. Pretty nice. I can see bodyguard being really nice. It's very good against the current sort of Greyjoy, as well as just having a general save. Especially Nymeria taking the intrigue icon from Tywin and then tearsing him, so bodyguard's definitely pretty valuable. It's also in a deck for Lannister and Tyrell or Rose, you have a lot of lords and ladies, and so it does make bodyguard much more valuable. Okay, so he passes, he's sitting on the Tyrell banner, sitting on 1 gold, and passes marshalling to the Stark banner. Okay, looks like a reducing location comes out for Lannister. And I believe the Lannister player will be playing with 7 gold, 2 from Tywin, 1 from the Rose Road, and 4 from the plots. And then he also has 2 reducing Lannister characters that he could leverage. So Tywin comes out. Opts not to tap the reducing characters, and only taps the location. So maybe leveraging those reducing characters for either a Chud block on a power challenge or a Chud challenge. It's also good because they do add a single strength, and if they're not necessary, but at the same time the gold would be very valuable on Tywin's strength, but he's already strength 11 right now on the Stark banner side. Okay, so challenges. A Chud power challenge, and
you got nothing on your house. Good stuff to steal.
The Stark banner was noting that the Tyrell player has no power on his house, but it would be something for them to for the Stark banner to steal later. So the Stark banner decides to block at 2 strength against the 1 strength power challenge. Okay, and a ambushed Widow's Wail comes out, giving the Tyrell banner the win at 3 strength versus the 2 strength from the Chud block.
Intrigue trigger self.
Okay, we have a Tywin, or sorry, a Tyrion intrigue challenge. Stealthing Tywin. Giving him 2 gold, giving him 5 current gold.
Second.
I'm thinking I was ready not as well.
Maybe. Maybe. Might have been a poor decision.
It might have been a poor decision. Might have been a really poor decision.
Just speaking about the implications of bringing out Widow's Wail too early on the power challenge from the Tyrell banner side. Could have been used elsewhere, for example, on Marjorie to bring her to 5 strength, although it's maybe not the best on Marjorie because you don't want her to be killed for claim, and then Widow's Wail may be stuck on Marjorie, who's often more valuable as a the +3 strength. And so the claim comes out, it's put to the sword, is removed from the Tyrell banner side.
Just gonna nibble out one a turn here.
Okay, so still waiting on the Stark banner challenges.
11. 11. You're 11. Alright. Oh, he's more than that. Got 13. That's okay. Let's try.
So still waiting on the Stark challenges. He has a power challenge and a military challenge available to him. Just deciding how he wants to go about it.
Try military.
So a military of 8 coming out. The reason it's going for 8 is so that if the Knight of Flowers chooses to block alone, and even with the Marjorie bonus, still cannot get up to strength 9 to defend the military challenge as well as collect renown, the Knight of the Flowers.
First copy.
This does open, I was going to say this does open the ability to bring Widow's Wail back to hand from military claim, but the Tyrell player does not have any gold remaining.
Maybe.
Okay, so a double defense and strength 11 from, and collects double renown on the Tyrell side. So. And a power challenge from Tywin at strength 11.
Oh, no, coin. 5.
Oh, yeah. He's a 13.
Okay, and Marjorie blocks the power challenge. So no unopposed, but the power claim will be taken and renown will be obtained for Tywin. So it looks like the Lannister player is at 5, and the Tyrell player is at 3 after collecting power for dominance. So let's say board state's pretty full, but ultimately Wildfire might be an option for one of the players. They do have, looks like 3 valuable. The Tyrell side probably will get hit more because the Hound is out. And you want to keep probably the Knight of Flowers, Tywin, and Marjorie. Whereas on the Lannister, the Stark banner, you could definitely eat up a Wildfire and lose pretty much Tumblestone Knight and 2 reducers, but his economy is already up to play. So Wildfire might be an option here for the Stark player if he so chooses that line. He could definitely kill the Hound or force a tough challenge, but I definitely think the Hound would definitely be killed. And with the economy starting to run on the Tyrell side, being able to kill the Hound without having to worry about ambush is definitely valuable. So we'll see. Maybe. Oh, and double Noble Cause comes out. So both players are very comfortable just putting more large characters on the table. So, okay, so draw phase. Okay, and the Tyrell side is going first. So he will be at 7 gold with one reducing character for Tyrell and one reducing Lannister location. We'll see how he plays Martian.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Okay, both will tap their Lannister reducing location.
And then I will use my
Sure.
and I will pay 3.
Okay, and Jamie comes out.
Pretty good character.
Your character.
Looks like the Tyrell player has 4 remaining. We really haven't seen any utility locations out beyond economy from either player. So the extra income might be good in that regard, especially if a character wipe comes out early on. Having those utility locations that stick around might be pretty valuable, and you're sitting on this extra gold. At the same time, the large income reserve does help Tywin's strength. Okay, and it looks like a Jamie comes out on the Stark banner side as well. So kind of toe in toe, and a Seal of the Hand comes out on Tywin from the Stark banner. So some Voltroning Tywin going on over here.
No big deal. I don't like the crash.
He's got more.
I got Tywin. I got Tyrion. That's kind of the same. It's kind of the same.
Okay. So Tyrell will open there with challenges. And it looks like right now, Stark Banner's Tywin would be at 8. And I suspect that's maybe 2 gold. So maybe 10 versus 9 on the Tyrell banner. It looks like he's sitting on 4 gold in reserve. So the hand's really nice, hopefully helping the Stark banner start putting more renown onto the Tywin. It looks pretty safe with the dupe and able to really leverage the high strength of Tywin. This Tywin's really good because he's equally as strong on both the offense and the defense, especially because of the renown. Okay, so a power challenge comes out from the Chud that has the Widow's Wail on it, and it was unopposed, so collecting 3 power. Or collecting 1 for unopposed and 1 for power. Claim bringing up to 3 on his house.
Getting ready. Getting the boys ready.
So Marjorie definitely has, I'm just thinking, Marjorie definitely has a little less value in this case, simply because Tywin's power is just so strong right now. So she hasn't been quite as leveraged as one may expect, but we will see. Maybe it's just always there in reserve in case the tables need to be turned. So we have a military challenge from the Tyrell side with the Hound, and Jamie is also declared as participant, but he doesn't kneel when declared as a military attacker. He also has renown while in a military challenge, both offense and defense, which some people forget. On defense, he also has renown because the text is situational, and it's not very obvious unless you do read the card that while he is participating in a military challenge, he gains renown. Okay, so we'll see how the Stark banner decides to oppose. He could simply block and take claim. I think that's probably the best. There's not really much unless he really needs to win. Giving Jamie some renown, pretty beneficial. Bringing the Tower player up to 6 power. And at the same time, if either of them has a wildfire, having the power on the character is a little less valuable than, say, on the house. So just opposing with like the Tumblestone Knight from the Stark banner would maybe be an option, keeping the large characters available. But no, he's going to go block with Tywin. He's got a large amount of strength available with him, as well as it's a low risk because he has Seal the Hand available to him to stand Tywin in the case that he does lose. But getting that renown on Tywin is just so valuable right now.
I mean, you don't have to.
So now, if you believe, it is he's going to have 3 gold.
Even though you've already,
Because he's sitting at 9, 11. So maybe he has 4 gold, and he's blocking at 12 against the Hound's 5 plus, or the Hound's 6 plus Jamie's 5.
It'll be a while.
So, unless he's just wants to oppose, but that makes no sense. So I suspect he has 4 gold in reserve, making Tywin at 12. So he's basically forcing Marjorie, and here we see it. So Marjorie will bump up one of the characters, giving it +3 strength.
Take an action.
And he's going, oh. And the Lannister player, or the Stark banner, decides to use Seal the Hand, which he should tap, but it will probably get remembered, but he forgot to tap Seal the Hand, verifying that it was used previously. Force reaction from...
yeah, we did that already. They bounced back.
Yep, now they're just kind of going through the appropriate way of resolving all the reactions to winning. So Jamie gains Renown, and the Hound will go back in hand, which is pretty valuable because he could pay the 4 gold which he has available to him to ambush the Hound, and he'll remain standing because he will be entering from ambush. So not too bad. And also, in case there's a board wipe, he can kind of keep him in hand and not have to force a kill. So I believe he passes the challenges, or he's let's see.
That is a 10
And Jamie's still 8.
He's still 8.
Yeah, so I believe the challenges went to the Stark player, and now the Stark player is deciding if he wants to commit Tyrion. And he was saying, hey, if I stealth Tywin, but Jamie still has the +3 from Marjorie, so that's something to keep in mind, that Jamie presently is strength 8. So anytime he's defending, he'll be able to defend at strength 8. And so, depending on if the Tyrell player likes what he has in hand, he's able to defend Tyrion against Tyrion. Okay, so pays 4, brings the Hound out, and then I suspect he won't oppose, and just take claim out of his hand. So the Hound was the most valuable card in his hand, and he had the gold available to him, so might as well get him on the table. Okay, so as I was saying before, they forgot the Seal of Hand needs to be knelt to trigger, so they're just resolving the board state. Okay, and I do not recall if the Tyrion, the Stark banner player collected his 2 gold, but I suspect he did. He collected his 2 gold for the Intrigue challenge being declared, and the Strength 8 Jamie is going to oppose the Intrigue challenge. Very interesting that even though he decided to oppose the Intrigue challenge and possibly win, depending on sort of ambush modifiers, but then he wanted to make sure the Hound was on the table, sort of showing his hand early. He might just want him on the table anyways. He would have done it regardless of any actions on the Stark banner side. Ooh, good catch, guys. Well, yep, very nice. So I'm glad to see the players were taking notice of the camera, and I'm glad they caught it. I think I was playing just a friendly game while this was going on, and of course I'm watching it now. So, but good catch. Okay, so I believe we're still waiting on the Lannister player. He has only issued an Intrigue challenge, or the Stark banner, with Tyrion. So he's still deciding how he wants to go about other challenges. Ooh. Looks like a power challenge because he had to. He's just going all out on power. Looks like a large power challenge. 27 power, as the Tyrell player was counting. So he'll be able to collect 1 renown. I don't know how valuable it is to oppose it, but the Tyrell player doesn't. If it's also So 27. We'll get 1 renown, but he is doing a lot. Maybe overcommitting. Definitely could only need maybe Tywin and possibly the Tumblestone Knight. Maybe he wants the Hound back in hand to trigger Wildfire next turn. I think that's why he really wants to win, is to put the Hound back into hand.
And I'm really glad I threw the hand out there. That was a really great move.
Yeah, and the Tyrell banner is also talking about the same thing I was saying, is that he basically put the Hound out. Maybe he wanted the Hound to oppose, per se, but oftentimes it's definitely telegraphed that the Hound wants to be back in the Stark banner's hand for some form of wipe, because he does have 3 valuable characters out on the table. There's a Tumblestone Knight and a Reducer that is definitely going to die to Wildfire.
Oh, this guy's gonna die.
But now the Tyrell player is definitely locked into it. And should get a renown. Oh, okay. It was not a power challenge. It was a military challenge. Jamie just did not did not kneel. So, getting him the renown on Jamie and the renown on Tywin. Okay, so definitely expecting a Wildfire here now from the Stark banner side. Do not know who. So, but we'll find out. Yep, so pretty obvious. Confiscation from the Tyrell banner and Wildfire from the Stark banner. So they're just deciding what confiscation we'll remove. Obviously, it's either the Widow's Wail on the Stark banner Tywin or the Seal of the Hand. I believe Seal of the Hand is much more valuable as a confiscation target. Okay, so the Tyrell player is going first, and he's deciding the yep, and so you will resolve in player order. Interesting that Marjorie will now die. I think it's kind of her value sort of was very much diminished by having Tywin on the board, simply because the +3 is just less valuable. So Marjorie dies, and who else was claimed?
Yeah, I know we both have Raw on our deck.
What else was on the table? I do not recall. Oh, the Hound. Yes, because the Hound was not able to be bounced back into hand. So Jamie remains and Tywin and the Land of Flowers versus Tywin, Jamie, and Tyrion on the Stark banner side. Two reduction, and the Hound comes back into play for 1 gold
You gotta win your Hound.
on the Stark banner side.
Yeah, no, I know. Maybe I wanted you to Wildfire.
Just in case.
The Tyrell player was noting, maybe I wanted you to Wildfire. It was pretty obvious. And Bran comes out for the first Stark card bannered. So being able to cancel treachery is really nice. There's not really anything for tears or put to the sword. It's also valuable. Excuse me. Dupe comes out for both Tywin and the Knight of Flowers, or the Tyrell banner. Reduction, and a Lannister reduction character comes out. Looks like he has 5 remaining gold. Ooh, so the new card, Mare and Heat, comes out on Knight of the Flowers, which allows you, when the attached character is either attacking or defending alone, you can kneel the Mare and Heat to remove the opposing character from the challenge. So we have challenges from the Lannister player, who is going first, or the Stark banner player who is going first, and he an intrigue challenge that is unopposed. Power is collected for unopposed, and a claim is taken. And ooh, Hand's Judgment is removed from claim for claim.
glad I don't have to go against things.
So with that Mare and Heat, the Knight of Flowers definitely becomes a pretty good adversary against Tywin's large strength. Able to just block and remove him from the challenge, forcing the Stark Banner to put 2 large players into play. Or 2 large high strength characters into the challenge to win. So you technically have to have 2 5 strength or higher to beat the Knight of Flowers. And here we see it. But this also opens up the Tyrell player to use Tywin to block or challenges that occurs with, and then saving the Knight of Flowers for offense. So a military challenge comes out with Jaime and the Hound at strength 11. Presently, Tywin is 10 strength on the Tyrell side. So it would force... So yeah, the Knight of Flowers trick will not work in this case, because even if you kick out the Hound, Jaime will still win on tie. Ooh. Okay, so... And then I'm assuming he's going to play Widow's Wail for 1 gold. Yep. So that will give him strength 12. He'll be 6, 9, oh, and 11. So that actually will not help him. So he's 8, and then he has 3 gold. So he'd go up to 11, which would make it a tie. Yeah, so, right. I think either the Tyrell played into the math right, but ultimately the tie went to the Stark Banner and Renown for Jaime. So Stark Banner is at 8 versus the Tyrell Banner at 6. The Hound comes back out with this large amount of gold, and a power challenge is issued. Looks like a power of 8 for Tywin, plus 1 for his gold. And Tywin to remove him from the challenge. So even if he does, so he will not. The Knight of the Flowers uses Marion Heat to remove Tywin from the challenge, removing the ability for Tywin to collect Renown, even though the Tyrell player has lost. So that was a pretty nice defensive move. Even though he lost the power challenge, the Tyrell player lost the power challenge. So an intrigue coming from the Tyrell side. So unopposed from Stark Banner, so he should collect 1 gold or 1 power for unopposed, and claim a Burn Man high value target removed from the Stark Banner side. And Dom goes to the Stark Banner. So perfect opportunity for the Tyrell player, if he's playing Wildfire, get out early, and possibly kill Brand. Maybe he's got a high value event he'd like to play, but you only have 3 characters as the Tyrell Banner. It's pretty safe. Okay, so marched. Ooh. That is beastly. Marched from the Stark Banner side, and counting coppers from the Tyrell side. I suspect he's going to choose Jaime. Probably less valuable than both Tywin, who's giving him his income, especially because he just played a very low income plot. But Jaime, even though he's holding on to the 2 Renown, I definitely think he can come out later and still be of value. But pretty nice hit from March of the Wall. Could have been the Tyrell player, maybe noting that, could have lost a dupe and kept the reducing chud out. So keep that in mind, even though you want to take claim for the small chuds. If March of the Wall hasn't occurred, you definitely want to keep that in mind. Okay, so Stark player will have looks like 6, 7 gold, 8 gold available. Plays out the Hound for 2, So we have 6 in reserve. And 5 available to the Tyrell banner. He has 1 reducing Lannister location. So one thing to note kind of about this game is that there's been a very low amount of draw besides the passive draw that's available from the game. Oh, very interesting. So double Jamie in the hand of Tyrell. So the march really, beyond having to repay for Jamie, did affect. Didn't really affect the Tyrell banner. So lucky for him holding onto those Jamie dupes and not playing them out. So now he's got 3 characters, each one of them having a duplicate. And both Wildfire and Marched is played for Stark. So Lannister or Stark banner for the first challenge. So one thing that would have been really nice, instead of putting Widow's Wail on Tywin, but putting Widow's Wail on Knight of the Flowers, would have been really nice, because he would have been able to win strength 7 and get past the Hound or Jamie. So kick out the Hound, and then with the Mare in Heat, and then oppose Jamie, and then collect Renown for winning the military challenge. But now that it's sort of stuck on Tywin, who already has a strength buff through gold income, or the gold pool, so not that Widow's Wail is going to be able to get removed from Tywin, maybe through confiscation or something. But okay, so we have an oppose at 8 from Tywin plus 5, so 13, and double Renown on the Tyrell side. So Jamie's only 1 away from where he previously was. So not too big of a hit from March the Wall. Intrigue, so ooh, unopposed Intrigue from Jamie. Ooh, and Tyrion removed from the Tyrell player's hand. A power challenge, most likely going to be stealthing the Knight of Flowers. Yeah, he forgot to, I believe, the Stark banner forgot to trigger the 2 gold from the Intrigue challenge. And the power challenge comes from Tyrion, stealthing Knight of Flowers. So the Stark banner only needs 2 power remain to win the game. Power challenge from Knight of Flowers. Unopposed power from Knight of Flowers. So now back to 3. And 1 for Dom, bringing the Stark banner back to 2. Power to win. So we have 13 power to 12 power. A lot of power on the individual characters this game. A lot of renown on the table. Oh no, the Tyrell player needs 10 more. Or not 10 more, 5 more. He has 10 available. He has 10 power presently, and the Stark banner has 13 power right now. So calling the banners comes out from the Stark banner, and Clash of Kings from Tyrell. High initiative, going for the power rush at the end there. It basically allows you an extra claim on power challenges. When you win a power challenge, move 1 power from your opponent's hand to your hand. So it does actually work on defense. I think that's something that I have never leveraged in my play, but maybe we'll see if this occurs here now. So you get it both on offense and defense. But it may be when, I don't recall if it requires that you have to be attacking. So even on defense, it could possibly win you the game. Okay, so the Tyrell player chooses to go first. Yep, and so now we can see the 5 remaining power for the Tyrell player.
I tricked myself on that.
Yeah, it's always something you want to make sure, rather than counting, make sure you count your power before you decide to go for the big end game. I've had that happen in my own play where I miscount my power and I believe I win the game, but my remaining power is not true.
I mean, or you can let me win on defense. So you should just do military or something.
Okay, so we got a little bit of sort of delayed play as the players decide what they want to do. Hey, we got a King's Road coming out on the Tyrell banner. Brings out the Hedge Knight. So the Hedge Knight is a 2-cost, 2-strength monocon, but if he if there is another knight on the table, he also gains a power icon. Yeah. And he also looks like he gets 1 strength, so he'll go up to a 3-strength Bicon for 2 gold. Pretty nice, but he wanted to leverage the King's Road, keeping the his gold reserve going into challenges very high. So rather than spending 2 gold, he only spent 1 gold and burned a King's Road, which is a little interesting, but we'll see how it plays out. And a Burnman coming out for the Stark banner. Very small. I think both players are trying to keep their gold reserves as high as possible to fuel Tywin and not give up any sort of strength, strength deficiency in that regard, so that no one can kind of go over the other player. So we've got 5 in reserve for the Tyrell banner, and it looks like I'm going to guess 5 for the Stark banner. He has them sort of stacked up, so it's not very obvious what the final total is, but it also could be 6. He got 5 from the banner, plus 3, 8, plus 3, so 11, and then played out a burned man for 1, so he could have 10 gold. So large stack, so 10 gold if I counted up correctly, making Tywin a 16 plus 2 for Widow's Wail, so an 18 on the Stark banner side versus the 8 plus 5, so 13 on the Tyrell side. But often, you know, the again, if Widow's Wail was on the Knight of the Flowers, he would just have. But he is also attacking alone. So on the attack, the Tyrell player may have the opportunity of getting a power challenge through.
Oh, totally different.
Way bigger than 12 Tywin.
So they were talking about the gold amount that is available. I did not catch if the Hound was also played this round, so that might have also diminished the Stark Banner's gold reserve. So a lot of jostling. I mean, you can't let the Stark Banner just get renowned on the defense, winning him the game. So it's definitely a tough place for the Tyrell Banner.
Alright, let's go power. Flowers?
Yep, power for the flowers.
Flower powers.
Basically winning him the challenge. So, but if he does make it unopposed, so I would definitely, but it will be unopposed regardless. So giving him 1 for renown, 1 for unopposed, and 1 for power, giving him 3, and then he just needs 2 power for the win. So I think you have to oppose. It's very difficult, I think.
Oh, I see. Right, there's no time for top 4, right?
Right. So you have to oppose with somebody less strength than the Knight of Flowers, so Mare and Heat cannot be triggered. So it will still be opposed, but he will collect renown and claim. And he triggers his plot, which we forgot about, and renown. So still 2, but if he did not oppose, he might have been able to take it. He just needs to gain 2 more power. So 2 power on the Tyrell banner side and 3 power on the Stark banner side, remaining for the win. There's definitely a lot of options. I think there's definitely a lot of passive challenge math going on. The biggest one, knowing exactly what Tywin's strength is and whether that can be modified by anything. One thing I haven't seen coming from either side of the table is things I do for love. Definitely have a large amount of gold available. Kicking a key character back to hand while they're defending, such as in this case, if Tywin's defending, you could kick him back, or Tyrion defending, you can kick him back to hand and possibly get it unopposed. So both players definitely either not leveraging it or maybe not drawing that card available to them in the Lannister faction. Okay, well, waiting patiently for the Tyrell player to decide how he wants to act. Final game, it was 16 players. We cut to the top 4, and then this is the finals. So it was a pretty good game. We played at Game Empire in Pasadena, California. Really good prize support. Got some store credit for placing higher up, and the top 4 received the playmat that you're seeing on the right. And then everybody got the promo, the Eerie, which is not available yet for legal play, but we got an alt art nonetheless. So whenever that is available to us. Pretty good place. We have game nights there, and we have great space. If you've not been there before, definitely check them out for their all sorts of events for every card game, as well as tabletop and RPG, board gaming. It's a great place. Okay, so stalling out a little bit here until we figure out how the Tyrell player wants to proceed. There's not a lot of options available for him. You know, you're definitely with a large stack on the Stark player side. You want to make sure that you're not leaving yourself to lose the game because you didn't see a win. One thing you could do is, let's see, if you were to put in
14.
Right.
7.
If you can get Jaime or Tywin knelt, you could try to get an unopposed intrigue off, and then somehow win. Okay. So Tyrell player decides to pass, and the Stark banner leveraging the high gold. Okay, so I do not know what challenge specifically. Most likely a power challenge. Military is not really beneficial at this moment. You really want to make sure that, but at the same time, you want to be very careful if of Clash of Kings. So a Chud block on power from the Tyrell banner. So one for renown.
Okay, they put both. Did I put them both on there? I'm pretty sure I just wanted one. Anybody know?
I think you put both on Tyler.
Yeah. So good for the judge to catch that. He had 2 renown on Tywin. The power amount was correct, and as long as Tywin doesn't die, I don't think it would affect the game. But I'm glad they caught it, and that Tywin collected renown, and then the power claim actually ended up on Tywin's card where it should belong on the house. So 1 power left. Definitely going to be very difficult with the Tywin standing. Issuing just a Chud military challenge is very... you cannot do that from the Stark banner because you'll just have Tywin and Jaime block. Although it wouldn't necessarily win the game. So you definitely, as the Stark banner, all you need is to win dominance, but that's not going to happen while Tywin is standing on the Tyrell banner side. So I think you kind of have to just give up dominance to the Tyrell banner and try to gain that 1 power left at the end. Yeah.
I know there's some obvious last turn.
So as we come to these late rounds, these games are not timed for the top 4, and as the finals, so you just let the players play out. So we're about 50 minutes into this round. Yep, so the Stark Banner is definitely contemplating how he might be able to gain the 1 power without the possibility of losing the game. So I think in this position, I believe you just have to give the Tyrell Banner Dom and try to win.
I'm gonna kick myself when it's real obvious.
Yeah. I can't think of anything. You've got 11 power available with Jamie and the Hound. So we pass to Dom. Dom goes to Tyrell. Everyone stands. And 2 power remaining for Tyrell and 1 power remaining for Stark. Okay. So Wardens of the West. And the new one called Tourney for the King. And I believe the Tyrell player is going first. I do not know the Tourney for the King exact initiative, but he will go first. Okay, and reduces to bring out a single Chud.
How much left? 5?
I have 5 coin left.
I get 9.
Yep.
Okay. King's Road for 1. Triggers the King's Road. Brings out Edark. Late to the game, but available nonetheless.
Alright.
Okay.
What do you got in there?
So now we got the Tyrell Banner. He needs 2 power to win.
18 is Highland Southbound.
And you got Tywin, large gold reserve on the Stark Banner, 5 on the Tyrell Banner. So I believe the Tyrell Banner is just kind of counting up how much power you can do if you just committed everybody. Can you just go over the top and be able to take it? Yeah, but we'll see how long it takes the Tyrell player. There's an obvious play, and I believe he comes to the resolution momentarily, maybe, hopefully quickly, because this is a long match.
I know. Power.
So here we are.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep. So the Knight of Flowers with Merit Heat. New card coming out in
Nowhere.
King's Peace.
Alright.
And the Lannister, the Stark Banner, was noting, hey, you know, never saw Treachery. So Treachery, Merit Heat, didn't see it.
1 turn, man.
Yep. So congratulations to the Lannister Banner of the Rose for taking the Store Championship.
Dominance or what?
Yeah.